Get into a situation, a memory, a feeling of someone who you just can't forgive. Can all of you do that for me? Have all of you got one unforgivable thing? Okay. I want you to picture that person coming up to you and saying, whoa, bummer. I'm sorry I did this, but you know I never meant to hurt you, and hey, can we just call it a day? And they leave. And you go like this. How come that didn't feel right? How come that didn't, clean up the table? Why? I'll tell you why. What's the whole... It's that there was that whole little thing, I never meant to hurt you. That's the thing you can't forgive, because it goes right to your soul. That toxic, sick feeling that says, what do you mean you never meant to hurt me? What? I want you to just picture the sword going right past your mind, going right into your soul, because that's the thing, right there. Now I want to picture this. Let's redo the scene. Comes up to you and says, I need to speak with you. I need to tell you something. I consciously knew what I was doing. I consciously knew it. And I have to call it something else. I sinned against you. It was a sin. I heard my conscience tell me not to do this, and I didn't listen. And it didn't matter to me. And I know that my actions redirected the course of your life. It was conscious. That was a sin, because it was conscious. And how much it hurt you did not stop me. This is not a boo-boo. This is not an apology. I am confessing my soul to you. And I'm asking now for your forgiveness. The depth of that, did it touch your soul? That's your soul. That gets the sword out. That's what heals.
You're not forgiving for that person. And you're actually not saying, and this is where the confusion comes in with it, you're actually not saying, you know what you did is okay. You're not saying that. And that's where the ego gets a little crossfire here. You're not saying that. What you're really saying is, I'm no longer going to trust the fact that life should be logical and orderly. I'm not going to trust it, because you know what? It doesn't work that way. And I'm no longer going to count on ordinary justice to work the way I would like it to work, because you know what? You'll always be disappointed. One of the codes you need for healing is this: make no judgments, have no expectations, and give up the need to know why things happen as they do.
Forgiveness is giving up the hope that the past could be any different. And that lesson literally changed the way I looked at what forgiveness is. It's accepting the past for what it was, and not spending all of your time saying, I wish, if only, it should have been this way. Because what we've learned is forgiveness is like medicine that can heal your pain, it can bring you peace, and ultimately, this is what we want for all of you, to be free. To be free. To be free.
Given, and this is one of my favorite quotes: unforgiveness unchecked becomes a cancer in our soul.
Yes, I called it a cancer of the soul because a cancer won't stay where it starts.
Oh.
It spreads.
Tweet that. That's good.
Yeah, it spreads. It spreads, and it begins to affect every area of your life, because we have a tendency, you can have cancer and not know it. You can have cancer and it will spread. You can have unforgiveness.
That's why unforgiveness unchecked becomes a cancer in our soul.
It's not going to stay where you put it. It's not going to stay in this one isolated incident. It begins to affect our children. It begins to affect our relationships. And most of all, it takes away from us the intensity that we need to function in the moment, because we are still empowering our history. We do it at the expense of our destiny.
Oh boy, that was good. That was really good. But I think it's so interesting. Are you all thinking about that line? Let's just think about that for a moment. Unforgiveness unchecked becomes a cancer in your soul. Think of the ways it has affected the way you treat other people, the way you react in given situations, it affects your mood, and it affects your attitude, and it affects your behavior. It affects everything. That's what you mean by it just doesn't stay in one place.
No, you're angry with your ex-husband. You're married to your new husband. The moment he does anything that remotely reminds you of where you've been, you overreact, because it's spreading to other areas of your life. And not only does it cause you to overreact, it also causes you to build walls around you from living your life to the fullest. In order to be successful at anything, you must be fully engaged.
Right.
It's going to take every ounce of you to produce what you're trying to get done.
Right.
And if you fuel anything that is negative, see, cancer eats up positive cells.
Right.
And unforgiveness, it not only is malice, but it eats up your personality, your creativity, your energy, your spirituality. It's too much of a price to pay to hold on to. And if you're going to spend all that energy energizing where you've been,
Wow.
then you're not going to have the fuel and the fire and the tenacity and the aggressiveness that you need to energize where you're going. So touch somebody and say, let it go.
Let it go. Wow.
Women are taught to think that it is powerful to hold people hostage with what they did wrong, that that's your power, that's how you get back. No, I didn't forget it, and I'm strong, and I'm tough. But it takes more strength to forgive than it does to be vengeful and angry. And the worst part about it is, I really believe that forgiveness does not exonerate the perpetrator. It does not justify their behavior. Forgiveness is a gift you give yourself.
Because you let it go.
Because you let it go so that you are available to be your highest and best self. And because you are saying that it is not stronger than me. It is not stronger than me. I disconnect from it as a sign that I am in control of it, and it is not in control of me. That when you rehearse those visions and images, you empower them. You actually enshrine them. I decided to cast down the idols of my history and to embrace the possibilities of my destiny, so that I was available when God's roll call was made. Are you present and available for what I want to do in your life right now? My hands are free. Here I am. Pick me. I'm ready to go.
But in the beginning, it's hard. You know, if somebody has really harmed you, because I remember when you told me that, I was like, okay, I'm going to pray for them. You can't even bring yourself to, I mean, how do you pray for somebody who you feel has really harmed you?
So what, it's easy to sit there with the anger and the toxicity and the bitterness? That's easy? When people say this is hard, what's hard is walking around with this anger. That's even harder.
And blame.
And
You know,
blame.
one of the things that you say in Return to Love is that it's so much easier to bless someone than to blame them. So that's what you're
And
talking
not immediately.
And not immediately.
But
That's what I'm
also-
saying. It's hard to do immediately.
But since the universe is self-organizing and self-correcting, if anybody did anything to me that harmed me, if anybody did anything to me that was a transgression or betrayal, the universe is already on it. The universe has a way to make sure that I get whatever in the material world that person took away from me. I call that the principle of divine compensation.